So we are live on Facebook. Very, very humbled to have, yes, yeah, a specialist in this area. My
You're far too
sister,
kind.
my sister from another mother, Wanjiko Maura, who is very, very willing to come and inspire her with her story of how she joined Deutsche Welle. And also to close up this talk with how can we push for positive news about Africa. And very, very happy to have you, very, very honored to have you on our platform. So if you're new on the AG Career Hub, we do different things, we do amazing things, so check out on what we're doing. We consult for career opportunities in Germany and also for business opportunities. So we are covering two different fields, and you'll find all that information on our platform. We have featured different people on our platform just for you to know, to find a mentor, to find that path, to find somebody who can guide you along and give you tips on how you can also make it. And we also trying to see how we can boost the trade or business relationships between Germany and Africa. So we are very, very active. But for today, it's a career talk with Wanjiko Maura. So if you don't know her, I'm sure you have seen programs like the Africa on the Move, the 77%, a youth show for Africa, but she'll tell us more. So Wanjiko, introduce yourself, and very happy to have you on the platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Caroline. I mean, I have been watching your chats, so trust me when I say it is a privilege to also be able to share my story and just be in conversation with you. My name is Wanjiko Mwaura, like you said, Mwaura with an H at the end. Short story. About 10 years ago, when I started using my name with an H at the end, more than 10 years now, I would introduce myself. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Wanjiko Mwaura with an H at the end." But now it is I can't write my name any other way. And I started as a poet, a performance poet. And now I'm working as a journalist at Deutsche Welle.
So
Here,
the puzzle of the story is, thank you so much for the introduction, is how did you join? Did you come here for studies? Did you come here for an internship? Was it an exchange program? Did you join the Deutsche Welle trainee? And by the way, there's a current call. So if you're looking forward to join the trainee program, check out, there's a current call, but we'll also touch on that.
yes, we will definitely touch on that.
Yeah.
Now to answer your question, I worked with Deutsche Welle when I was still in Kenya. Okay. But I came to Germany, to the headquarters, as an intern. But the funny story is, because there are many ways to come to Germany or to be in any country. If you're white, you can be in any country, for no reason. If you're African like me, maybe the options are limited. So it means you would come for education, you would come for internship, you would come for work, you would also come for, I think the cases for cultural exchange would be very limited. But these three, I think, are the key things. So I came for an internship, and I applied for my internship and waited to be called for 2 years. I'm not sharing this to discourage anyone. I'm only saying that sometimes you put things out there and they happen, but it doesn't happen according to your timeline. It happens according to the time it's supposed to happen.
Wow. 2 years down the line.
Yes.
Wow. And then?
So I had just left a job when I got my offer from Deutsche Welle, and I joined in the capacity of an intern, yes, but what I was doing was a lot more. The 6 that was then extended to 9 months that I was working as an intern were an absolute joy for me. I mean, of course, you have challenges when you're new to a country. The language is not one you're used to. You might know it, but you're not used to it. And many, cultural clashes here and there. But the majority of it was an absolutely fantastic idea. So experience for me. So I joined and wrote a drama series that you can find online. It's called Click on the Link, which is about digital safety for young adults. So that's the target market. It's a very fascinating story, if I do say so myself, of a teenager who gets pulled into a scam where they are asked to send money, digital scam. So you know this flashing alert on your computer when you open a page, and they say you have won 1 million. Click here to,
get the money to get rich.
Exactly. So I talk about that in this radio drama series. But the authoring part wasn't the only thing. The entire process, the writing process was a guided process. I had incredible editors. I had minimum 2 editors, one for language, one for story, and I had an additional editor for technical. So you can imagine how much input I was getting just in this process. And then after, I did the post-production as well. So I went to the studio and had to put in what I imagined into the radio drama, that when you listen to it, you can hear, feel, and see almost what I wanted to bring out in the story.
Wow.
It was the best experience ever, internship ever. I really absolutely loved it. And thereafter, I have to say I've had a very supportive boss. And
so wait a minute, let me interrupt you. So I know you're a go-getter, no limits. No boundary.
I try.
I can go anywhere as long as I'm Wanjiko Mwaura. So where did you find this internship? Because I think many people are like, so where do you find these internships? Maybe some of them are already Googling and trying to find out where do I find the internship?
First of all, Googling is the best step you can take. Google that. Google Deutsche Welle internship, Deutsche Welle job opportunities. That is the first step you can take. But where I found it was, remember I mentioned that I had worked with DW like 5 years before I got my internship. Therefore, I knew who to talk to on a personal level and ask, hey, is there an opportunity? But like I said, I still needed to apply for it. So it's one thing, just like you, Carol, you share opportunities on your page, on your business page, right? But just because you've shared doesn't mean that you're the person who's dishing out the appointment letters. So it is the same thing. And this is something that I absolutely appreciate about my process getting into Deutsche Welle, that I still needed to be approved by someone else, not by the person who said, hey, maybe you should try and send a request for an internship, because the process is very open. It's not like, when you and I speak and we say Nina Jomtu, for our international audience, let me translate that. I know someone, right? I know someone who can do this. It's not directly like that. No, you get guidance on who you can talk to, and then you make your plea or you make your request. And if it's valid, if it stands the test of salt and time, then you get your opportunity. So that is how I got in. But I have to again emphasize on the opportunities are online in many of these companies, not just Deutsche Welle. They are online. But let me just touch on this because of the digital part. Because since you pushed for our talk, like you sent out the poster for our talk, I've received very many messages of people asking me, hey, what can I do? What do I need? And so on. And what I'm doing is I'm sharing the link specifically for the traineeship. But still, some people are not opening the link. They're like, yeah, but I've had, there's an age limit. So can you tell me about, but dude, I'm or woman, I'm sending you this link. And then if you have any further question, I am more than happy to talk about it with you. But just like people need to understand
on the link.
Yes, exactly. Click on the link. So people just need sometimes to get a bit of information so that they can ask a more guided question, or so they can receive better guidance on how to approach, say, an internship in this case.
I agree. They should click on the link, check on the requirements, send the application, and then talk to Wanjiko and ask her, how do I prepare for the interview? How are the work climate? What are the requirements, etc., etc. So first, click on the link, and I'm sure she'll be of great help. So now you have finished your internship in Germany. Then what next?
So, like I was saying, I've had so far very supportive boss. So, I went to them and I said, "Hey, I've enjoyed working here, and I hope you too. So, is there a chance for me to stay?" I just asked.
You have nothing to lose to ask. Yeah.
But I have to say this. When I came to Germany, I had a plan. My plan was to work for 6 months, do the best job ever, and then come back home, so go back home, and work for an international company. Of course, we know these plans don't always go like this, but this was my vision. Let me call it a vision, not a plan, because I didn't have like company 1, 2, 3, 4 that I was going to apply to, but I had a vision of the kind of company I wanted to work for. And so I really had no motivation to stay in Germany. I just wanted national exposure, sincerely. But like I say, I loved my experience. I loved the people that I worked with. And so I asked, hey, is there a chance for me to stay? And this is how I ended up staying. So of course, I still needed to send in again my application. It still needed to go through the process with the Agentur für Arbeit, that is the employment agency here in Germany. They needed to confirm my papers again because now I was shifting from an intern to an employee. They needed to check that my papers were in order, that I didn't get some back road certificates from back home. So, and this whole process took a month to verify. So it wasn't like I was just given a job like this. Yeah. And again, I'm emphasizing this because I don't want to give the false impression that, if you know me, I can get you in. It's not like that. I can recommend if you're doing a good job, for example, I can say, hey, this person is I think we should really consider this person. I don't have such a heavy say, so to speak. There's still a due process that needs to be followed if you would be coming for a job here. So I can't say this person has a good work ethic, for example, and you don't have German, as an example. I can't help you in this case. So this transparency is something that I absolutely appreciate so far in me getting into Deutsche Welle. So that's how I ended up staying in Germany, even though the original plan was not to stay.
We are glad you stayed because you have a beautiful face, a wonderful smile, and every time I've watched some of these 77% youth shows, and I'm like,
thank you so much, Karen.
So we have people there like, do I need to have a diploma to join some of these programs at Deutsche Welle? Do I need to have a degree? Do I need to speak the German language? Talk to us. Talk to them.
Also, I highly recommend speaking German. I highly recommend speaking German because, first of all, you're moving to a country that is not using English or French as the main language. So I'm just using the two other main business languages in Africa, right? Specifically in Africa. And you're coming to a country where even the most basic things are all in German. Just on the life level, leave alone work, just on the life level. I'll tell you, the first time I bought salt, what I thought was salt. No, sugar. I was looking for sugar. So, no, it was salt. I'm not sure anymore now, but I know I confused the two. But because I didn't know, everything was too much when I came here. It was in the middle of the winter, and just things are just a lot. There's a lot to take in, and then you add the language component. Even though I had at least B1 level of German proficiency, but I didn't live in Germany. I lived in Kenya, where we speak every other language but German, except French. I don't speak French. But so you don't interact with the language, and therefore some things don't come so easy at first. So I went to the supermarket and I was going to buy salt. So because sugar in Kenya, when I was growing up and up to as long as I remember, it's often brownish. Yeah, it's never white, pure white. Here, everything is white. Sugar, salt, everything is white. There's no difference. And that is how I bought the wrong thing. I bought salt instead of sugar, I remember, because I was making tea. And then I realized, this is salt. So that is just on the life level. It wasn't anything big, and I laughed at myself after that. But when it comes to the career, it also means that when you have the language, you're able to break through to your colleagues. You're also able to understand some small nuances in their speech that will help you not get offended. Let me explain that. Germans are very direct. They're very efficient people. They're world-class engineers, as we all know. And that means that they don't waste time on small talk so much, which means someone can come and tell you something so direct, and you are from an East African country where you say please, thank you, and everything in every other, after every other word, and then if someone comes and tells you, Carol, you need to do 1, 2, 3. It's not a please, it's just, it's expected. And it's not even an order, it's just, it just is, that this is just the culture. And so when you understand the language, you're able to create a bit of space where you can interpret the things that you're being told, because remember, they're also probably speaking to you in English, which means they will transfer, just like we also do this direct translation thing into English or into Swahili or into any other language. They're also doing that into English. So imagine they're bringing the mannerisms of from German to English, and therefore sounding very rude, while in fact they have nothing against you or for you. They're just doing their job. So language is such an important requirement, and it actually, when you look at the requirements of the traineeship that we will, I don't know if we will talk about it now immediately, but German is one of the requirements, because learning a language is not just about being able to communicate on email with it, or just doing the textbook kind of learning the language. It's also being able to get into the culture, to understand and appreciate the culture, so that you're able to work efficiently by understanding where your colleagues are coming from. Remember, you're the one who came to their country, or you're the one who's working in a German company. So you need to somehow make room for that, how would I call it, translation or exchange from one language to the other.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we can do so that we can keep the video compact is people can check, you can check on the requirements. If you have really any questions after clicking on the link, you can get in touch with Wanjiko Mwaura and she can give you a guideline. Maybe she can even give you the inside information. How is the program structured? Like, what are the expectations? Maybe how do I prepare for an interview, etc., etc. And if you have, like, if you'd like her to recommend you, maybe you can share her your CV and say, hey, I've been doing this and this. Why don't you recommend me for the trainee? I think this is the bottom line. But just to sum it up is, how is it like to work as a journalist in Germany? We have young people out there who are watching us. They're like, wow, I would like to become like Wanjiko Mwaura.
Before I answer your question, I just quickly want to say, I'm not sure I will have time to look through your CV, but I am happy to guide anyone who has any further questions about the traineeship. And the reason I'm doing this, and I would be doing this for free. I'm not getting paid by Deutsche Welle, by the way. And it's because when I was applying for the same program, I had and still have, we still have a relationship with this lady called Julia Mask, and she and other people also guided me. They told me what, who to talk to, how to prepare, and all of that. So I want to pay it forward, and I think this is what we all should be doing. So I'm happy to talk about that. Now, to come to your question, how is it like being a journalist in Germany? Wow. It's a mixture. It's a mixture. I think it's a job or a workplace or a career like any other, where you would be, say, if you are a Ghanaian in Kenya or vice versa, or in South Africa, in the sense that you learn. So first of all, I'm very privileged at the moment because I am working in an almost all African team. But all African does not mean that you're coming from the same country. it still means the same way you have to be accommodative of your German colleagues who are speaking to you in English, and therefore could happen this intercultural miscommunication. It's the same thing that can happen within an all-African or mostly African team, which means sometimes someone says something and you're like, wait a minute, and then you remember, wait, we come from completely different cultural setups. But the long and short of it is, I feel like I have had very many opportunities to go reporting, for example, within Germany. I have accessed places, like one of the most remarkable trips that I've done, journalistic trips that I've done in Germany, was during the Bundesbank in 2017. And I got to go to East Germany. Now, if anyone is watching and has no idea of the separation of East and West Germany, it's basically the East was the, how can you summarize it? Yeah, it was the communist part, and West was the
I think the liberal, was it the one?
Yeah, liberal is the right word. And now, and they came together. Now we have Germany after the reunification. But there's still so much in East Germany that hasn't been resolved, that I got to learn during this trip. We met people who were telling us, you know, foreigners are the ones taking our jobs, and our daughters are all going to the West, so our sons are left here and they get married there, they never come back home. We saw buildings, I saw buildings, high rises, just full of broken windows, and no one is living there. Like, there's just property sitting there. There are not so many people, and it was quite a different picture from what I'm used to. I'm in what was formerly West Germany, and it was a completely different picture. And this is a privilege that I could only get from my job, so to speak. I would not voluntarily go to East Germany on holiday, right? But because of my job, I was able to talk to real, ordinary Germans and get to hear what are they complaining about. Why did they want to vote for Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, for example? Why are they supporting the AfD, Alternative for Deutschland, which is a far-right group? Why? And when you listen to these people talking, sometimes with tears in their eyes, and they're just like, the government has forgotten us. And you know, when you watch the news, you don't see this entire local German news. You don't see this entire picture. So to be able to be on the ground, speak to these people, to be in an AfD live demonstration with police, with police there, and you know, them insulting us. We were 5 journalists, African journalists, then insulting us, and then right beyond the border, there's another left demonstration going on, so the far left demonstration, and to just see how these groups are able to exercise their freedoms at the same time without police killing people. You know, it just shows you a completely different reality than I would have had I not been having this job. And this is just one of the remarkable trips that I've done. So in a nutshell, I think it's full of opportunities for anyone who...
It's an eye-opener. It's an eye-opener. Yeah. Before we finish the discussion, of course, we would like to know the setup. How do if I join Deutsche Welle, what kind of programs, for example, so people miss out the training programs. Are there other opportunities of how people can now join Deutsche Welle, and what kind of maybe projects? Do you have like projects that are of interest, or maybe focusing only the African sector? I mean, you don't really have to answer this if you're not very comfortable with the question, but I just thought as a by the way, so that people can know, okay, if I miss the trainee, which other opportunities are there? I know they have so many languages. They have Deutsche Welle also in Swahili. So we have maybe people who are very fluent in Swahili, and it could be an opportunity for them.
I think what we started with, perhaps, is, again, I go back there because Corona has made sure that everyone is now digital in one way or the other. So, having said that, Deutsche Welle has 30 languages. So, if someone... 30.
30. Wow.
30 languages.
Wow.
That means at least 30 opportunities if you speak all the languages. So, but for specifically for Africa, we have the French for Africa, Portuguese for Africa, we have Hausa, we have Kiswahili, we have Amharic, and we have, what have I said? I've forgotten, but there's 6 languages in the Africa department. And English for Africa, of course, English for Africa. And the thing is, if you know what to look for, you can find all the information online. You can find information on, for example, if you're looking for a job, we have on the website, when you go to the DW website, there's a link for job opportunities. Just go there, see what requirements are being asked for different languages as well. And it's not just journalistic stuff. They also look for IT personnel, for example. They look for HR people. They look for project managers. So it's not just the journalistic or editorial work that you can do at Deutsche Welle. It's just like any company. I saw someone making a joke saying, we are not producing a movie, but don't just ask for a role in the movie. You can ask to be the driver, you can ask to be the cleaner. So opportunities are there. You just need to know what you're looking for. And the second thing is, for example, when you go to the traineeship link, you will see the head of the traineeship. You will also see another lady called Mariam. I'm saying her name because she is on the website, so it's open information. And their contact details plus phone numbers are there. What more are you waiting for?
Apply.
What are you waiting for? So the opportunity, the access is really there. It doesn't mean that just because the email addresses are there that you will get a response, but what do you have to lose?
Nothing, just apply.
Yeah. Exactly.
My last question. We know media, Africa, we see the face of Africa on media. It's very, very negative, unfortunately. Things are changing with people like you and several other players in the market, several other amazing journalists who are trying to bring in a new face of Africa. I know you are one of them, and that is why actually I invited you to this platform to come and tell us how you are contributing to, let me say, selling positive news about Africa, because we are tired of seeing hungry children. We're tired of seeing a desert. We're tired of seeing, we want to see technology. We want to see the innovation hubs in Africa. We want to see the cultural aspects in Africa. We want to see the digitization in Africa, not just this old narrative. So I know you've done a lot. I mentioned a few of the programs, but just to sum it up and say, we are doing this. I have done that. I'm very proud of that, and very proud of what you're doing, by the way.
Thank you so much for that. It means a lot also to get support from Africans living in Germany, because I think a positive story is one that can be appreciated across the border. So it's not just for Africans living on the continent, but also Africans living abroad, Africans raising children abroad who can access positive stories about the continent, so that it stops being a threat country. I was reading something this morning, and someone was finally commenting that, when I was young, they live in the US. When I was young, my parents would tell me, I'll send you back to Nigeria if you keep misbehaving, and I will buy a first-class ticket for you. We need for that to stop, because using your home country as a threat needs to stop, So what I have been very privileged to work on a couple of projects. The first one that I will remain my baby forever will be What Else? What Else was a social media format that we co-created with Eddie, my Junior. You probably have seen him. We are also hosting 77%, not together anymore, but we are in the same team. But this was definitely something that I feel absolutely like, if I would go today, I'd be like, yes, I did my part. Small, but I did my part. And the way this project came about was, we were in the office one evening and we were angry. we were angry because of the kind of reports that we had on the show on that day. But we were like, where are we? Where are we the ones reporting all of this negative things? Like, what else is happening on the continent? I mean, yeah, this is happening. And what else is not, the concept is not about claiming that the other things are not happening. That's not the aim of telling positive stories. No, it's providing, providing another perspective where you can have the bad things, we know bad things are happening. Yes, but there's also this other picture, and together they make a whole. So out of this anger and almost frustration, what else happened? And after that, we've had the 77%, which continues to do the same thing. And so create a balanced and mostly positive reports from Africans, also living in Europe. We have fantastic series at the moment of Africans living away from home and the things that they're doing, contributing back to their home countries. It's just a beautiful blend of people on the continent, Africans on the continent, what they are doing, and Africans elsewhere in the world and what they are doing, and how this sort of merges. Because when you're thriving, no matter where you are, I think your family also thrives when they're back home. So in a nutshell. But yeah, what I can say is to get a bigger picture of what we are doing at Deutsche Welle, specifically Africa Department, just go to our YouTube channel where you will find so many videos. On our Facebook page as well, there are lots of content there. Now on Facebook you'll find also the negative things, if you would call them that. So you'll find the whole picture, same as on YouTube.
I will share the link so that people can find the information. And by the way, if you missed the training call this year, you can still prepare next year. So we have also an amazing guest also working, your colleague working for Deutsche Welle, who is a trainee, current trainee. He'll be joining us, and maybe now we can go deep into details and discuss this so that people can now prepare for the next intake. I keep saying, if you miss the opportunity once, try the second time. You have nothing to lose.
Exactly. And there's still 3 days before the training, the opening expires. It expires on the 27th of November. So if you can speak German as a basic minimum, I think you should give it a shot. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. And if you need help anyway, you can also send out your CV. We can check it out. Hopefully we can manage we need the 3 days. And thank you so much for the amazing story. You always inspire me whenever I see you smiling and glowing. And I wish you the very, very best, and look forward to having another session, maybe talk about something else or one of the projects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have something up my sleeve, so I would love to be back and share it with people and you, of course.
All right, then greetings from Nuremberg all the way to Bonn, and hopefully see you soon after Corona is over. Stay safe.
Thank you, and you too. Enjoy Lebkuchen now that we can't travel, and you guys have the best Lebkuchen, so you can send some my way. But enjoy the season.
Oh yes, we have to make the best out of it all. Yes. Thank you so much once more, and talk soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.